This is Ag Matters PM from the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network, your daily recap of the information that affects Iowa's farmers, producers, and consumers right here in the heart of the heartland. With reports from our award-winning team of Dustin Hoffman, Riley Smith, and Mark Magnuson. Now, from the IARN studios in Des Moines, here's Riley Smith.
Welcome into Ag Matters PM on the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network. I'm Riley Smith. Today's Monday, November 24th of 2025, and we're so glad you can join us for today's show. In today's episode later on, we'll have the closing markets of Sam Trainer of agmarket.net. But first, today I was out at the Food Bank of Iowa to check in on a donation from the Iowa Farm Bureau and Fairway stores. First up here is Iowa Farm Bureau President Brent Johnson to speak about how this donation represents our Iowa farmers. Brent, it is great to see this donation, and not only is it great to see it another year, very timely donation right now, and really great to see all that come in.
Yeah, this year it seems as critical as ever. Right now, we've heard stories this morning already about the massive increase in demand and need across this country, and that's unfortunately that's been a story that we've been telling for a while, but again, here we are in a very significant need year, and the high cost of proteins and just sourcing good quality food for these Iowans to enjoy their Thanksgiving dinners with. And so we're really proud to partner with Fairway and to provide nearly 26,000 pounds of food. That's over 100,000 servings, and so hopefully make some families' Thanksgiving just a little bit brighter, and helping those families in need is always at the forefront.
And like you mentioned, it's not just any food. This is nutritious food, a lot from Iowa's producers. So we're seeing the Iowa farmers being a direct help to those who are in need here in the state.
Yeah, absolutely. This is locally sourced foods. The pork came from Webster City and distributed across food bank systems of Iowa. So locally grown, locally delivered.
And you mentioned that partnership with Fairway, a very fruitful partnership that you guys have had with Fairway. Talk on that side of it, working with Fairway, getting this donation out.
Yeah, well, we've partnered with Fairway on many different initiatives in the past. You may have seen some semis running up and down the highways with their farm families on the side of them, or our local county farm bureaus many of them have events locally, whether it's grocery cart races or cram the cab events. But in this instance, to meet the need and to help the Food Bank of Iowa support those families in need at such a critical time is one of those favorite programs for us.
Food Bank of Iowa CEO Tammy Nielsen said this donation is very much appreciated, especially during the holiday season where a lot of food-hungry Iowans are looking for a sense of normalcy. Not only is it a great donation to see every year, very timely this year. Tammy, talk about the importance of this donation for the food bank.
Well, 26,000 pounds of protein is an amazing donation. It's often the highest priced item in the grocery store, and also has the most nutritional value. And so folks who are on a limited budget or using their SNAP dollars, that's a hard thing to stretch. And so a donation of protein at this time of year when the need has never been higher is such a wonderful donation. And with Fairway and Iowa Farm Bureau, as partners to Food Bank of Iowa, it's just a perfect time.
And Tammy, you mentioned the price of meat right now is really higher than it's ever been at the meat counter. And that makes it out of the affordable range for a lot of Iowans. Many people are going to be looking to their local food banks for even a little bit of normalcy during this holiday season. We got Thanksgiving coming right up. How great is it to get this donation right now to where not only are people getting that nutritious food, but some food that can help them feel like they're living a little bit more of a normal life, a little bit more of just a regular time?
Well, the folks that are served through our partners, really value this product. And like you said, it is one of the highest costing products in the grocery store. And everybody's looking for protein. And so this donation at this time, when we are seeing record need, our partners are ordering 60 to 70% more food than they did in September. They started ordering at a higher level in October during the government shutdown, and then with the SNAP interruption, they continue they continued to order at that level, and it has not slowed down. And so as quickly as food comes in the door, it's going out. And so this donation of protein at this time is just, it couldn't have come at a better time, because folks are needing more and more food, and our partners are ordering more and more food. And so really appreciate this partnership and this donation.
And this donation, being the size that it is, going to help a ton of people. Like you just mentioned, there's been a lot of variability. I mean, there's a lot of, I don't know, are we going to have that food supply? Really nice to have a donation to where you can look at those people and say, yes, we have what you need, right?
Yeah, our partners have once again risen to the occasion. They're serving people with dignity and respect, and a lot of folks who are navigating the charitable food system at the very first time are finding our partners. And so welcoming them in their doors at record levels, and as I said, people who've never used the charitable food system before, so welcoming in new families. And so having great product to provide for those families is just a wonderful, wonderful donation today.
And the Iowa Farm Bureau and Fairway coming together to make this donation, they've had a very fruitful partnership together. A lot of that partnership ends up benefiting the Food Bank of Iowa. Not only is this an example of farmers helping their fellow Iowans, but this is just Iowa nice. Iowans helping other Iowans in times of need, right?
Yeah, and that's a wonderful thing. We were speaking about that as a group too, how Iowans step up to help Iowans, and we're all such, we all really care about one another, and this is a great example of that. Our partnerships with Fairway and Iowa Farm Bureau are just highly valued. We cannot do this work alone, and so having these partnerships is imperative to the work we do and meeting our mission.
All right, Tammy, thanks so much for the information today. And once again, with this heightened demand holiday season, for anyone who wants to get in touch with the Food Bank of Iowa, either to make or receive a donation, how can they do that?
They can go to foodbankiowa.org, and they can either find food, make a donation, or look for volunteer opportunities.
Thanks again to the folks at the Food Bank of Iowa for having us out to cover that donation today. We'll go ahead now and switch over to the closing markets, and I'm with Sam Trainer of agmarket.net. Sam, what do we see going on in the grain markets today?
Thanks, Riley. Just a really quiet start to the week here. Corn and bean futures down just a little bit. Traded both sides unchanged here throughout the day, but just a lack of real direction here today, which in kind of expect that for this week. Historically, this is one of the lighter volume trading weeks of the year, just with the Thanksgiving holiday here on Thursday and then a shortened trading session on Friday. Generally a pretty quiet week here in the markets. Now, obviously that can always change. Something could pop up. We did have some excitement over there on the livestock side of things, which we'll get to, I'm sure, here in a little bit. But as far as grains, pretty quiet day today. President Trump did have a phone call with President Xi in China. They just followed up on their meeting that they had in South Korea a few weeks ago. All things seem to be going in the right direction. We did hear that he has a very important deal that will be great for our farmers. Those were his words there on a post on True Social that he put out. And then also, as part of that post, he did mention that he's going to travel to China and meet with the president in April. And then likewise, that the Chinese president will come visit him here in the States at some point over the summer. So sounds like they're continuing their relationship with each other. Things all seem to be going good. As far as our export sales and that's sort of thing, as far as that's concerned with China right now, we're just shy of 2 million metric tons here for this year's commitments. The goal is 12 million metric tons. So about 16% of the way there. Obviously, much more to go to get to that target here in just a short amount of time, but on the right track. Continue to see those daily sales every day here to China, which is going to need to stay the case here going forward.
And then, of course, this week is a bit of a shortened and different week for that trading. When we see weeks like this, where there's a holiday towards the end or in the middle of it, do we tend to see less action from that, or is that really just still dependent on the headlines?
Yeah, it's hard to say, but generally speaking, it is a pretty quiet week here. I mean, now obviously you could have some sort of headlines that certainly push the market one way or the other. But, you would have thought that post here today from President Trump may have had some sort of impact on these grain markets, and really no reaction. So I think that's, like I said, just a lot due to the fact of just very light volumes and not a whole lot trading here going on this week. I think once we get into next week, it'll be kind of more of what we're used to. The old saying, the Bears get Thanksgiving and the Bulls get Christmas. That it looks like that could be true here this year, because we've definitely been selling off here coming into Thanksgiving. But still to be determined what we're going to do as we get past Thanksgiving and into Christmas.
And then on the livestock side of things, how did cattle and hogs trade today?
Had a very rough day on the cattle markets. Limit down for most of the session. Couple of things that were impacting that today. There was talks of the border being reopened as early as this week. I heard there's no official date on that or schedule or anything that's been confirmed, but it's being talked about and that's out there. So that's definitely putting some pressure on the markets. And then additionally, Tyson is going to shut down a U.S. beef production plant in Nebraska. We heard that headline. So that was hurting prices today as well. And saw that those markets trade limit down for most of today's session. And then when you look at hogs, they had a little bit of the opposite going on today. They've been in quite a downtrend here after going up to some of those recent highs. But did have a very strong day today, up about $1.50 on the lean hog market. So maybe a little bit of a vice versa action from the cattle, maybe recovering there. And we are getting into the holiday season, so probably a lot of pork getting bought for your Christmas hams and all that. So look for that trend to maybe continue to be the case.
All right, Sam, lots of great information today. For anyone who would like to get in touch and learn more from agmarket.net, how can they do that?
Best way would be to visit our website at agmarket.net, or you could give us a phone call at 1-800-779-1515.
Great talking with you as always, Sam, and we'll talk again soon.
All right, thank you.
That again was Sam Trainer of agmarket.net. We'll take a look at how the numbers closed through the market window at iowaagnet.com. At the close, December corn down 1 3/4 at 4.23 3/4. January soybeans down 1 3/4 at 11.23 1/4. December soybean meal down 90 cents at 3.1420. Soybean oil down 8 cents at 50.18. Chicago wheat down 4 3/4 at 5.22 1/4. Kansas City hard red winter wheat down 3 3/4 at 5.07 1/4. Minneapolis spring wheat up 2 3/4 at 5.67 3/4. December oats down 4 1/2 at 3.01 even. On the Merc, December live cattle down 7.25 at 2.0720. January feeders limit down 9.25 at 3.0497. December lean hogs up 40 cents at 78.20. Pork cutout went unchanged at 93.22. And December class 3 milk up 4 cents at 16.14. That's been a check of the markets here on Ag Matters PM, and that also brings us to the end of today's show. You can find all of our daily ag news content on our website at iowaagnet.com. From the Iowa Agribusiness Radio Network studios in Des Moines, I'm Riley Smith. On behalf of Mark Magnuson and Dustin Huffman, we thank you for watching. This has been Ag Matters PM.